Hello and welcome to this lecture, and in this lecture we are going to learn about a few dictionary functions. So in the previous lecture I have mentioned that dictionaries are data structures which are essentially a key value pair, and I already mentioned that you could store any kind of data in your dictionaries. So for this lecture let's do a little experiment. So instead of having the key as a string value and the value as an integer, let's do the exact opposite. So in this case we are going to define a dictionary wherein the key is actually an integer and value is actually a string. So let's take a simple dictionary which is called as numbers, and let's define it in a certain fashion. So you could have curly braces right over here, and you could go ahead and define your dictionary right over here. So let's say we essentially want to map numbers to their names. So let's say we define 1 as a key, and let's say the value of 1 is actually ONE 1. Then let's give a comma. Let's define the next value as 2, and let's do the same thing with it. So this is going to be TWO, give a comma. Let's define the third value as 3, and let's type in 3, and also don't forget to give space here. So once you have these 3 values, we are good to go. So we have defined our dictionary here. And now the first function, or the first dictionary function which we are going to learn, is to basically check if a particular value is present in your dictionary. So let's say you want to check if the value for 1 is actually present in your list. So for that you simply type in print, then you type in the key value which is 1, then you type in, and then you simply define the dictionary name which is numbers in this case. So what this is essentially going to do is that it is going to check if 1 is actually present in numbers. So if you save the code and if you try to run it, as you could see, you are going to get the result as true because 1 is actually present in the numbers dictionary. Now what if you define another value which is actually not present? So let's say if you define 5 here. So what this is going to do is that it is going to check if 5 is present in the list. So right now, as you could notice, there is no 5 here. So if you save the code and if you run it, as you could see, you will get the result as false. So whenever you want to make a quick check if a particular key is present in your list, then you could simply go ahead and use this function. So essentially you mention the key value here, then you have an in here, and right after the in you need to define the dictionary name. So it is going to check if this particular key is present in this particular dictionary or not. So once we have learned about this thing, let's move on to the next thing, which is essentially a get function. So get is another dictionary method, and it does the same thing as indexing. So basically it is used to retrieve and print out the value for a particular key, but it is a bit different, and the difference is that if it actually does not find the key in a particular list, then instead of actually returning a false result, it actually returns us some result which we have mentioned in the next parameter. So in order to learn that, let's go ahead and delete this print first. Now to use the get function, let's first type in print, and then you need to define the dictionary which is numbers, then type in dot get, and let's say you pass in 2 over here. Now 2 is actually present in your list, hence you should not have any problem in getting the data. So if you run this, as you could see, it will actually map this key to its value which is 2, and this print actually prints out that particular value. Now what if you pass in a particular value as 5 which is not present in the dictionary? So if you save the code and if you run it, it actually gave us the result as none. But what if we actually want to print out something else if the item is not found? So what you could simply do in that case is go right after this 5 or any key value which you have mentioned, give a comma, and in double quotes you could simply type in the text which you want to display if that particular value is not found. So you could simply type in key not found. So whenever you run this type of code, so when it does not find any value, as you could see, now it is going to return the result as key not found. So instead of having the by default result as none, you could have something which is called as key not found. So this is how essentially the get function works in Python. So it is actually a function which is used to extract a particular value from your dictionary. So in this lecture, we have learned to check if a particular value is present in the dictionary, and we have also learned how to extract a particular value by using the get function, and also what to do if a particular value is not found. Now this is extremely important when you are searching for a certain kind of data in your program. So these two functions are extensively used to check and validate the data. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next lecture. Thank you.